Hi everyone, my name is Katja, I'm CatColouring, and I bid you a huge and warm welcome to my channel for both new and old subscribers. Today's color and chat we are going to be working in this book, Flowers and Landscapes of the World, by Aikawa Sora. And I thought that we could color this page with Finland and this reindeer in the snow. So the paper in this book is actually quite thick and sturdy, and it's meant for oil-based pencils. So today I will be using my Polychromos pencils from Faber-Castell. So if you don't have this book, you can join just as easily. Grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or a mug of tea and just enjoy the color along and the chat. If you have this book, then grab it and your coloring pencils, and let's begin coloring this page with Finland. Okay, so you can see here on this page we have some pine trees partly covered with snow, and then we have some leaves and berries down here, and then the reindeer. So the background here is colored black. It's not, well, black. It's more like a very dark gray. So I don't know actually if I want to add some black to this background. I will find out later. But let's look here at the bottom here. And these berries and leaves here. So it's sort of a wintry page, perhaps a little Christmassy, but I think mostly winterish sort of page. So I think that I will be taking the deep red here and actually just color some of these berries here. Just add a little bit of red. And you know, these berries, they are not very big, so I don't think there is much of a point in, you know, coloring them with 3 different kinds of colors. Then I want some berries which are darker, so I will use a middle cadmium red instead and just add a bit of a darker red to some of the berries. I mean, it's all just a choice. Do I want to use 3 different colors with each little berry? Or do I just want to use different red colors for the berries and then look at how it looks when the coloring is finished? So now I'm using this deep scarlet red here for most of the rest of the berries, and then I will actually just be using the scarlet red to have some of the berries just a little bit of a lighter red, if you can say that. And well, that was actually the berries here. So you can see we also have some larger berries here. I'm not that sure that I want to color them red, so I will just let these be here. I think that these are pine cones, so I do think that we will need to use some more brown colors for this, and I think that I will be using, because they are not huge, these pine cones, so I will be using, no, not that one. I think I will be using, yeah, my walnut brown and my nougat. So walnut brown for the bottom of these. Pine cones. And this is very typical because here we have a larger item, so then we can use more colors than just one. So the dark color always goes down here. And of course a lighter one on top or just above it. So you can see here, if I just add here the nougat, I actually think that with this one we have room for another lighter color. But you can see it gives a much better impression here, but that is because we have room here. This one we should be able to make room for a lighter color, a third lighter color. And also here, I think. But the last time I colored in this one, I used my Prismacolors, and that didn't go too well because, as I said, this paper is extremely smooth in the surface. So the tooth of the paper fills up really, really quickly. And that means that if you want to layer and layer and layer with the Prismacolors, it's simply not doable on this paper. And I found that out the hard way because I did a double page here earlier in December, and I had to use my Derwent blender pencil to try to make it look just a little bit decent. You know, with smaller items it wasn't that bad, but with larger areas it was really, really horrible the way it looked. But you can see here that these polychromos, they work really, really nice actually on this paper. It's much, much easier to use these than the Prismacolors. So of course you can just leave it and have a white edge here on these pine cones, but I do believe that I actually want a third color for this one, and it should be some sort of a beige like color. So I want to use the warm gray number 2 here. I think that's the closest thing of a color that I would like to use. You can still see it's light, but it's at least not white. So the end of January is here, and soon it will be February. So actually when this video comes out, it really will be February, and that will be the last of the winter months. And I don't know about you, but I am, well, almost done with winter. I can feel it. So in this school where I work, we have had a sort of different week, and we have been out walking, and in the town where the school is, the winter aconites are just everywhere, in every garden, and when you walk along the roads, they are also there. So we have so many winter aconites just blooming right now, little spots of yellow and green. in the dark brown moist earth. So it's really beautiful, and it makes you really long for spring. I really long for spring now. So it will be hard, you know, continuing to color winter drawings here in February. But I still have a few I want to color, so I will have to endure. Leaves. Okay, so I think we need some dark green colors for the leaves here. So, and not really bright green colors. I think that the chrome oxide green would be a nice color to begin with. But I can see that other people are actually beginning to color, you know, more spring-like pages. So I can really feel it itching in my fingers when I think about all of the wonderful pages I could color with flowers and stuff. The pine green. Oh, this is really turning out really nice and green, this one. But this also means that it will soon be time for my completed pages video. And then here on top, the permanent green olive. So that is actually quite exciting, because I was able to set aside some time last weekend. And I actually managed to color quite a few of the things I have really been behind with in my Magical Dawn. For the CatColouring Ensemble Magical Dawn, it's my Instagram book. So I actually have been behind with some pages there, and I did manage to color them all. And you will see them in my upcoming video with my completed pages. So you can see the last one, the permanent green olive, just gave it that little bit more of a bright color here amidst all of this dark colors. And then we have the juniper green. This is actually one of my very favorite green colors here. So let's color some of these leaves with the pine green. And notice that I don't color all the way out to the edges. And then I will actually just sharpen this one, the earth green, to add a little bit of a lighter color, which is also a little bit more gray-green here to these leaves. And then we have these ones, and they are dark. And then we have, this is perhaps also leaves that we should be coloring. I think that the chromium green opaque could be a good background green for these. Well, it actually looks a little bit like shadow leaves here, but I can see, you know, that here they turn to real leaves, so we'll just give them a little bit of color here. And also here, to try to prevent us using a lot of different green colors. Then I will just stick with these colors. Perhaps even give it a little bit and color on top of this sort of gray black, or what it is. And actually think that I will just take this color down here. So this is sort of a more coherent place here for the leaves. So these small flowers down here, I don't know if they're sort of Christmas rose-like, but let's pretend it's Christmas roses. And then the middle should be colored with the cadmium yellow lemon. And then, well, the white ones, they have a little bit of some light green in the middle of the petals here, actually. And then they are sort of whitish, but I will use the ivory because, well, I really like the ivory color. And I think it looks, well, smashing for flowers like this. And then you can, because they're usually some of these stamens here, you can just add a little bit more of the cadmium yellow lemon. And the same goes for this one over here. With the light green and then ivory. Just have to say that it really does feel a lot better working with oil-based pencils than with the wax-based on this paper. It really, really works out nicely and very easy to lay down too. So these ones, I have no idea what kind of berries they are, but I think I want to color them a very dark blue color. The dark indigo, and perhaps add a little bit of indanthrene blue just to give it some shine here. I actually think I want to sharpen this one because sometimes I like to work with a pencil which is more blunt in the tip and sometimes more sharp. It depends on how much detail I want in this. I actually want. And sometimes I'm not very good at doing it freehand because I usually color too much and then it's a bit difficult. So I will just remind myself that I need to have some highlights in these berries. So there have been a lot of declutter videos on YouTube recently, and I saw a couple of them, and well, it got me thinking, well, I'm not really really in the mood for some decluttering. I am about to make my winter art haul video, and it will be a long one, I think, because I have, well, it will also include my my Christmas presents and my birthday presents, because as some of you may know, it was my birthday here in January. And I have gotten some really nice things, both for Christmas and for my birthday, which were not color related, but I actually also got, and I think that most of my gifts were coloring related. So I got some really nice new winter boots for my birthday, because my old ones were so old and they didn't really work anymore. Okay, so I also got some new shoes. And now you must be thinking, oh, but wait, boots, we can understand. Shoes, it's winter, it's filled with snow. No, not here in Denmark. It is not filled with snow. Here, I have actually only worn my new boots when I am walking in the terrain, because then it could be, you know, sort of muddy and stuff. But no, the winters in Denmark are usually, and well, almost always, not that cold. They are gray, they are foggy, they are cloudy, they are rainy. So for most of the winter, the number of days where I see the sun and blue skies are, well, you can count them on one or two hands for the whole winter season. So it's really just dark up here in Scandinavia in the winter. And it's not even that bad in Denmark compared to the northern parts of Sweden and Norway, because then it's almost dark all hours of the day. We can feel that the sun is up in the sky a lot more when it sets. It was actually, I think yesterday almost, was it 6:30 before it was completely dark. And around Christmas time, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when it's getting really dark and you can't see a thing. So this was the dark sepia actually I use for the little branches here. So now we have this side. So it's time to focus here on the tree and the reindeer. So I will actually just use the dark sepia, now I have it, for some work here. And then I think I will add another, still a dark color, the burnt umber, just to add a little more brown sparkle. And now you can see that we have snow, and then you can see the tree, snow and tree, snow and tree. So I will use some dark green colors, and I think I want to use some of these. So the chrome oxide green and also the pine green, because I really like, you know, a very dark green pine tree. So I'll use the chrome oxide green for these parts of the green here. And of course I will be going over the white parts with a Posca pen, because the paper isn't, well, it's not whitish. So to add it and give it some more whiteness, I will use a white Posca pen for the snow here with the tree. So as I was saying, a really big winter art haul. And besides the things that I got for my birthday and Christmas, well, I actually got a lot because there were some sales going on in some of my favorite stores. So and then I discovered a new store, which is not a physical store, it's an online store. It's called, if you translate it in English, self-time, or time for yourself. Selvtid in Danish, and it's actually quite a neat idea. You can subscribe to some boxes where they just pack everything ready for you, and it's art boxes. And then you can get everything you want, and it's primarily watercolors, so no acrylics and stuff like that, but watercolors. And then you can, get one box each month and do some very creative things, usually with watercolors, but they also have boxes where you can make your own candles and soaps and stuff. Well, I didn't buy any of those because I'm not interested in making my own soaps or candles. So, but they do have a lot of stuff to watercolors, and I actually needed some watercolor paper to use my watercolors on. They both had some practice paper and real watercolor paper. So I bought some paper there, and I want to show you that in my winter art haul actually. But that was a new store. And then some of my old favorite places where I buy my art supplies, they had a little, they had sale here in January. They usually do here in Denmark. We have a huge sale in January. So, like Black Friday in the United States. Then in January, they have a lot of sales, some for half of the month and some for the whole month. So there were some great offers I just couldn't resist. So I have so many things to show you. So I think it will be quite a long one this time, actually. So for the reindeer, I'm going to be using some darker gray colors, actually, and lighter gray colors. I'm going to be using also a little bit of some very dark brown. I'm going to be using the dark sepia. The warm gray 6, warm gray 5, warm gray 3, and warm gray 2 here. So it really depends on whether this reindeer is in its summer or winter fur, because and also a lot of reindeer, some of them are really, really dark, and some of them have a very brownish fur, some of them have a gray fur. So I think that this one is going to have a bit of some dark sepia here. So the dark sepia here. So all of this decluttering here, I mean, with all of the coloring books and other art supplies I have gotten for both Christmas and my birthday, and which I have also bought here this winter, a decluttering is certainly not something I will do in the foreseeable future. I have no need for a decluttering yet. Perhaps sometime in the future, but certainly not now. But I can certainly understand the need to, sometimes do a, what should we call it, a good cleanse. I do believe that decluttering and is very cleansing. And I think that the process in itself is also very cleansing. So I will also use the dark sepia down here. On the front legs here. If I sometimes hesitate a bit, it's because I, of course, have a reference photo, like you know I usually do. So I will actually also add a little bit of the warm gray number 6. I do think that the warm gray colors here in this Polychromos set are a bit to the beige side, if you can see it, especially with the lighter colors here. So I do think that the dark sepia and the dark gray 6 are actually quite a good match here. So we'll just use the dark gray here on its hooves. I think they're called hooves here. And the warm gray 3. So as I said, no decluttering for me, but I do like to do a good cleanse out sometimes with all of my stuff, actually. Began a few years ago. When my mother-in-law died, then my father-in-law was still alive. And so there was actually not that many things. We had to clear out her things, of course. And it was, you know, a little by little, because my father-in-law also had to, you know, depart of her things. But eventually we did manage to remove a lot of her things, her clothes and other stuff. And so that was a process in itself. But then just a couple of years later, in 2019, my father-in-law was also diagnosed with lung cancer, like my mother-in-law. But his was it was an aggressive form of cancer. So it had spread quite a lot when they found out. So unlike my mother-in-law, and she lived on for about 6 months after she got the diagnosis, then he actually only had a couple of months. He died in October 2019, actually just before COVID began coming to the country. So, and my husband was their only child. So when he died, then it was not just a matter of emptying some clothes. It was the entire house we had to clean out. And that was really, really rough. It was some years ago. Our children, they were not as old as they are now. So we had to divide it. So I stayed at home, took care of the children and at home here. And then my husband went to their house to clean up. And I went with him a couple of times, but it wasn't possible for me to be there the entire time. So, and it took a lot of time, because they had lived in that house, and you know, for so many years, and they had a lot of stuff. And it really takes a long time to clean out a house like that. It was so hard. And we even hired a company after we had done, you know, all of the personal items, what with the clothes and a lot of the other stuff and the papers also, and books and stuff. Then we hired the company to take care of the rest, you know, the furniture. And up in the attic, my father-in-law, he was a collector, so he had a lot of wood and iron for some reason. So in a matter of 3 days, they emptied the rest of the house. And with the iron and the wood, they actually emptied 8 tons. Yeah, I'm not kidding. 8 tons of iron and wood and everything from that house, and the garage, of course, also. So that was a lot. And that made me think. It really made me think that, well, I didn't want I don't want to leave my children when I, at some point, die, to have to spend months and months and months cleaning a house. I had a colleague once, her father died. She spent half a year emptying his house. And she said it was the hardest thing she had ever done, also because of the memories. That makes it even harder. But because of all of these things, and that made me, after we had collected the last items, when we got home, I just took a tour around our own house and thought, oh my gosh, all of these things, and how many things do I use on a daily basis, and how many things do I use sometimes and never. So I've actually decided and took the decision that I want to, this is the warm gray 3 here, that I really want to clean up my belongings every 5 years. So every 5 years, I just clean out a lot. So I started with my own cupboards with clothes, and I think that I threw out more than half of my clothes, or not threw out, I actually gave it to charity, because there was a lot of stuff, that I had bought at some time and thought, oh, this looks good. And then I'd only used it a couple of times. So this is the warm gray. So I thought, well, there's no need to hang on to clothes if you just use it once or twice. So, and I have actually stopped, just buying clothes. I only buy clothes now when I need it, like socks, or if I need a new sweater because it's really cold or something. So I cleaned that out. Here this September, I cleaned out the kitchen, actually emptied all of the cupboards and drawers and everything, and cleaned everything also at the same time. That's also quite therapeutic, let me tell you that. And got rid of all of the stuff that I really don't need and I don't use. And that was also really, really cleansing. So so I still actually need, or it has been some time, I have done in the living room, but I know that it will soon be time for me to go over the living room again here. And then the study that I'm sitting in right now, I feel a little bit bad because I have postponed cleaning up this one. Because here I have a lot of the things that I use as a teacher, all of my notes from all of the years that I have taught. And it's really difficult for me to throw any of it out because I still have a lot of years back to work, and I don't want to throw anything out which I might use later professionally, So, but I do have an attic, and I am going to take it up there, and then in a couple of years, when I am much closer to my retirement, so that will be in at least 15, 20 years from now, throw it out. And we also have to clean the attic. We actually began here a few years ago, but then we stopped for some reason. Can't remember. I'm using the warm gray now to add some more depth to the color. And that was what I just used. Wasn't it the warm gray 5? Yes, it was a warm gray 5 I used. So I do really think that going through your possessions regularly, every 5 years or so, and cleaning up, it can be very therapeutic, very healthy. So I actually need to be doing this here in my study, and I actually think that I would dedicate a part of February for cleaning out here in my study. And also because I do need room on the shelves for all of my new coloring supplies. So I would rather have them here than the other stuff. And now you may think, oh, but you are a teacher, don't you need everything? Actually, no, because I have worked earlier, before I got this job that I have now, I worked as a high school teacher. And all of these notes for my high school teaching days, I don't need them right now because now I am at a normal school where I just teach children. And that is because I am both educated as a high school teacher and a normal teacher. So I can do both. And this is still the warm, I think it's the, what is it? Oh, the warm gray 2 I am using right now. I actually think that I want to incorporate, I think I will just take the warm gray 5 here and just add a little more color here so we have some more subtle transitions here. Oh, I really like this reindeer. I think I will just take the, I think it was the sepia I used here. Dark sepia, yes. So you can see here. And I will take now the warm gray. This must be number 3. To just blend it a little bit together down here. And I will take the warm gray 6 to add a little bit of shadow here. And also here, actually, I wasn't quite finished here. So, yeah. Cleaning up can be so therapeutic, so I am actually both dreading it because I know it will be very hard work, but I am also looking quite forward to it, I have to admit. Yeah. And also it will be really nice to have all of my new coloring books and coloring supplies, and I can't wait to show you in my upcoming winter art haul, to show you all the nice things I have. But it will be so nice to have them on shelves and in order, because right now they are just lying on the floor in piles because I really can't fit them in on any of my shelves right now. Let me just take the dark sepia here, and then I will actually take the, this is the dark gray 5. To add a bit of color here. And the warm gray number 2. Oh, wrong one. Oh, here. The warm gray number 6, just for some shadow here. And also here, and also up here. And a bit here in the fur. It's actually, I just have to say, really, really, really easy to work in this coloring book on this paper with these Polychromos, these oil-based pencils. I know I said it before, but I just have to say I am so amazed at how easy it is to work with these. Especially you can see here with the layering here on the reindeer. So you can press hard, just get the color down and be done with it. Or you can just layer with these. And I couldn't layer with my Prismacolors in this one. I simply couldn't. I will just take the warm, this is the warm gray 5 here, and add a little bit more of this brownish gray color. And add a little bit more color here around these. I think this must be holly berries and holly leaves here. And also the warm gray 3. And again the warm gray 5, just a little bit here. And now I will take the warm gray 1, just checking, yes, the warm gray 1. And this is a lighter, really light color. Add a little bit more here, so that we can see this bit is a bit lighter, but still it actually fits really nice into the fur. And here around the eye, and just color on top up here, because here and the ear, it needs to be a little bit lighter. And on top of this one also. Oh, I think this actually turned out to be quite a wonderful little reindeer. I think I will just use a bit of my dark sepia here. And a bit here on this little tail here. It really is a little tail. A warm gray 6, just to add some structure. And then I do think that this one is almost finished, but not entirely, because we need the eye to be completely black. And you can also see here now that when I add a black coloring pencil on top of this pre-printed, you can clearly see that this is really black and that the other is more of a grayish black color. So I do think I will have to use some sort of a black here on the background. Then we have the nostril here, which I want to be black. And then, well, it's not actually necessarily dark, this nose here, so I think I will actually use a cold gray 3 for this one. And then color on top with the cold gray 1. Yeah. So that was first part of the reindeer. Okay, so the antlers, you can see I have already done half of them. Usually they are, if they are not covered with this furry, like weird stuff that they, you know, sort of rub off against the trees. If they have that, as I presume, because these antlers are quite thick, then they are sort of browny. But if it's not there, they are just very pale on reindeer, like some beige, whitish, grayish, light grayish antlers. But these ones are so thick that I think that this sort of furry stuff must be on them. So I will color them with my dark sepia and then the walnut brown. So that was the dark sepia and then the walnut brown. So if I haven't, I think I did say it in the beginning of the video, but I just have to say that these polychromos, they work like a dream on this paper. Whether you just want to lay down some color or whether you just layer them like I did with this fur. Also, I think that here with the eye, I want to use the walnut brown to add just a little bit here. Okay, so that was the antlers. Then let us look at here. You can see I've already colored some of these leaves, and for this one I use the light green and the pine green, because in some holly leaves, you know, there is some sort of a mix between a light and a dark color, and I want these holly leaves to show it. And for this one I actually just used the permanent green olive for the middle, and then the chromium green opaque. And for these I used the permanent green olive and chrome oxide green, so because it's a bit darker. So now we have 3 different kinds of leaves here. And then we have this little bell here. And I always like to use some ochre colors for this. And I really like the Polychromos set because it has really ochre colors, and the Prismacolors really don't have them like it. So you can see here the light yellow ochre, and here we have the dark Naples ochre. And you can see here with the tips, this is sort of brownish and this is more yellowish. So this one is brownish, so I will use it, and I will actually use the walnut brown to add a bit of brown shadow here. And then I still take the light yellow ochre here, and then the dark Naples ochre. And you can see it just adds some more yellowish tone here for these. And we leave a little highlight here. And then I think that I actually want to use, this is the Naples yellow for this one, to just add it a bit more yellow. And that was the bell. And now it's just a matter of coloring with white Posca here on the trees. Just color the sign, the snowflakes, perhaps add a darker black, really black color here to the background. Add some snow color, and then, well, this is finished. So that was it. That was the end of this color and chat here in Flowers and Landscapes of the World by Aikawa Sora. What about you and decluttering, and you and cleansing out and clearing out of your stuff? Write a comment down below and let me know if you also clear out your things regularly to to cleanse your home, or to make it easy on those who are going to inherit all of the items you possess when you die. Remember that if you cannot get enough of my coloring, then you can consider becoming a channel member and joining my coloring community. If you join my coloring community, it will cost you less than $3 a month, actually only $2.99. And then you will have full and exclusive access to all of my beginner tutorials, color alongs, and my how to color series. And you will also get all of it as an extra added bonus, ad-free. No commercial breaks or anything. So, if you have a wish for a coloring book I could color in during my color and chat, also write it down in the comments. So, upcoming videos my huge, enormous winter art haul, and also a comparison between the Van Gogh and the Mongolia oil pastels. So until I see you in the next video, have a lovely day, take care of yourself, happy coloring, bye!